Hello and welcome to Motivate. Today I am joined by Leonora, who is one of our expert nutritionists and is also a mum. So obviously you're joining me while I'm in my third trimester, and we've got someone that's been through all of this before as well. So we're going to be answering and asking a lot of questions about the second and third trimesters, because this is normally when symptoms start to settle. Bump suddenly starts to go from bloated to actual baby, because I feel like I had a big bump in my first trimester, but I don't think it was baby, I think it was bloating. And I think as mums we start to realise, okay, there's a real human forming here, and what do I need to be doing? Am I eating what I should be eating? Is my nutrition on point? And this can be for somebody that has a bad relationship with food or a good relationship with food. Suddenly I think you start to overthink and get a bit confused about what you should be putting in your body. So I think the first thing I'd love to tackle with you is, from a nutritionist expert, what are the extra nutrients that mum and baby need in the second and third trimester? And is there any extra that we need, or are we carrying on as normal?
Really good question. So before we touch that, I say it's really important to sort of know what you're working with to like eliminate the guesswork. So we all have a nutritional profile, all the vitamins, all the minerals, etc. And if you can get blood work done to let you know where you're deficient, then you're not like guessing that, oh, I might be deficient in vitamin D, so I might have more eggs and more liver. Understand where you're coming from.
So get the facts, like,
exactly.
Really in order.
I think that's super important with pregnancy. So you know, because if you're deficient in certain vitamins or minerals that can be detrimental to the development and growth of the baby, it's just best to know where you're starting from, so that you can make sure you're getting those vitamins and minerals.
I find pregnancy is a great time to do a bit of an MOT on yourself and just to actually have those checks done. And make sure, and like it's women finally stop and are given such a good opportunity to focus on themselves, which we should be doing all the time anyway, but we don't.
It's an excuse to like slow down. This is about me and my baby, and like understanding what we need. So in pregnancy, the nutrients that we need the most of, we're looking at how we're helping the brain and the central nervous system development of the child. So we're looking at folic acid, for example. Now this is a really interesting one, because everybody's like, folic acid is what we need to be having. Folic acid is actually the synthetic form of folate. So we need to be getting folate, and we can get that through cruciferous vegetables. So things like broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, dark green leafy vegetables, fortified cereals. I would say with the cereals, make sure that they're organic and not like full of sugar and additives and flavorings and things like, and colorings and things like that.
Things like oats.
Oats are great, for example. But if you think fortified, if you think about like the little like the flakes, bran flakes, for example, and it would say fortified on there, right? Folic acid deficiency leads to spina bifida, and also neural. Oh God, my brain just went blank there. So deficiencies in the spine and the brain development of the baby. So it's really important that we're getting enough folic acid and folate rather into the diet. Vitamin D is really important with bone development. So getting sunshine is really important. If you are from, say, for example, you come from a background where you have darker skin, we tend to filter out the UV rays of the sun. So it's important for us to get, so it's important for us to get that supplementation. And I say to look at getting it in liquid form so that your body's absorbing it quite quickly, avoiding the tablets that are full of fillers and magnesium stearate and bulking agents, for example. And then getting exposed to the sun for at least 10 minutes with no sunscreen on. You want the sun to contact your skin, because that's how the vitamin D is synthesized from the sun into the skin. So that's super important. Zinc is also really important. It's linked with brain health development and also the immune system function. And what's really interesting with that is if you tend to see stretch marks, you know that you're deficient in zinc.
No way.
That's a really interesting
That's a really
fact.
Good check you can actually do on yourself.
Yes, you can start to look at that and try and get more dark green leafy vegetables, more nuts and seeds, more legumes, more meats, for example. And then with that, a caveat is, when we're talking about nutrition, we tend to look at just what can I eat. But the important thing is that how can I maximize the foods that I'm eating? You want to make sure that you're going for organic foods, so you're reducing the pesticides, you're reducing the toxins, and specifically for meat, because we're growing a baby, we already have hormones that are like super high and like doing lots of juicy things in the body, right?
Yeah.
So if you're going for meat that has been factory farmed or factory bred, you're looking at things like what do you give the animals to keep them healthy? Antibiotics. Okay. So they're getting that. They're getting a lot of extra hormones. They're getting a lot of things to help them grow quickly.
So you're adding hormones to hormones.
Exactly,
and
exactly. So you want to make sure you're keeping the toxic overload as minimal as possible, going for the best that you can.
Yeah.
And going seasonally as well, because when you're talking about nutrition, you want to make sure that you're getting the amount of nutrient from that specific food. So wherever you are in the world, whatever foods are seasonal to you there, that's what you want to be focusing on. And because you're not, if for example, if you've got, like we're in England, if I've got food coming from Africa, right, that's like thousands of miles away. By the time it reaches me, the nutritional content has been greatly reduced.
So shop local, shop organic,
farmers markets, exactly,
and
just the best you can
spend money on some really good food, because you're not spending the same amount of money on going out and things like that. So actually just invest that money into yourself a little bit.
I think so.
And it's really interesting because everything you're saying and all the foods you're pointing to, it's just that list of really healthy, good for us foods. Isn't it?
So
it really is. Like...
So back to what you're saying, which ones do we need more of? So aside from folic acid and vitamin D and zinc, we're looking at things like vitamin C for immunity. We're looking at calcium for bone health. Vitamin E again to help with the body developing immune system and how tissues form. Vitamin A for retinal, how the eyes develop, how the brain develops. So there's no I don't really think you should have more of. I think it's how can I get as much nutrients as possible into, because each of them have a significant role to play in different metabolic functions in the body.
Which is why we end up taking our prenatal, right?
So that's a very good one.
So this is why we have to take our supplement.
Yeah, I really believe in supplements. So some people are like, I can get everything from food. So I don't need to supplement. So I would encourage people to revisit that school of thought. Like if you look at how food is farmed, where the soil is nutritionally deplete, how quickly we're trying to grow the food, the process of manufacturing. And if you look at the actual content of vitamins in carrots or oranges or apples, we'll find that they don't actually contain as many nutrients as they should because of the way that we're growing the food. Supplementation is super important. So when we're looking at supplementation, if you're not sort of following that school of thought, think about the growth and development of your baby. Right? Yeah. Because I think living in certain countries, it's really difficult to get that balance of diverse, different foods from all food groups in the right amounts.
And make those decisions for yourself as well. It's a big burden you're placing on yourself.
Yeah, that's true as well. It's a good point.
To be trying to like figure that out and map it out and figure out where you're getting bits from.
Exactly.
So
having the supplements it just covers the baseline. So with supplementation, it's really important to understand what you're getting. So I love supplements. I will happily spend time online, like looking at different supplements because like they're just so powerful what they do for you. So it's important to look at the brands of the supplements that you're having and stay away from generic brands. Stay away from like pharmacy or drugstore or supermarket brands. They're usually cheap synthetic versions. You've got to spend money on supplements, and I don't mean like hundreds, but you've got to, it's an investment. You're putting in a high quality viable food that's nourishing yourself because it's pregnancy and how you're dealing with all the hormones and everything else, but also your baby and how their brain, spinal cord, nervous function, all of that is really impacted with what we're putting into the body with nutrients. So I always say key things: look for glass bottles, reduce the risk of like plastic toxicity, right?
Interesting. Okay.
So always a dark glass bottle, like an amber colored glass bottle. Look for the ingredients. The first ingredient should never say bulking agents or fillers. They should have the vitamins. You want to go for a whole foods based supplement. You want to make sure that you're getting the full spectrum, so the vitamins and the minerals as well. And I also didn't mention with the supplements, it's super important with the development of the baby to get the omega-3s and the omega-6s. So super important for brain health, brain function, and with zinc, RNA, and DNA synthesis. So that's super important as well to have an omega-3 and omega-6 supplement as well.
And does that go in addition to your pregnancy supplement, or do they come together?
Some of them come together, but if they don't, so a good prenatal will have the full spectrum of all the key ingredients that you need.
Okay.
And if you can find, if you find that you're developing reactions to your supplement, for example.
Yes, so I used to feel really nauseous in my first trimester. It's actually eased off now when I would take my pregnant care supplement. So I would almost instantly feel sick, which meant I had to take it in the evenings, and that really helped me.
Yeah,
is that psychological? Is that really happening?
I don't think it's psychological. I think our bodies are so amazing when you think about like how many systems and things we have going on at the same time, that if we put something into the body and the body's like, no, we need to respect that and think, okay, hang on a minute, what is not working
What's
for
triggering
us?
what?
Yeah, so I say don't force it. If your body says no, then respect that and find a replacement, because there are tons of supplements out there.
Okay.
Find a replacement. And if you can get like a liquid-based replacement because it's better absorbed, more easily absorbed, then I think definitely have that in addition to like a tablet-based. But the ones that I really like...
Yes, give us your recommendations.
The ones that I really like. So there's a brand called Maximum Vibrance, I think it is. And they have this big tub with just a whole bunch of stuff.
Okay.
Things that you can't, like camu. So for example, that's high in vitamin C, which we need for the immune system and tissues, for example. And you'll usually find that in ascorbic acid, right? In a vitamin supplement form.
Yep.
Camu has more vitamin C than ascorbic acid, for example. Wow. So you get that, plus you get all the prebiotics and the probiotics, which is also really important because when a baby's born, their gut is sterile. So vitamin K, for example, is synthesized in the gut. Okay. So you want a supplement that also has the omega-3s and the omega-6s and all of the prenatals, but also the pre and probiotics as well.
And it's just let the supplement do the work, right? Like just pick the right supplement.
So find a supplement that has as many things in it, but that's a caveat. Like you've got to be able to understand. It shouldn't be in language that you don't understand or that like, you know, a year 4 or a year 3 can't read. Simple nutrition, listing the vitamins, no fillers, no binders, no bulking agents. And if you can get it in a powder form, I think this is really good because going into pregnancy, sometimes you don't really feel like eating. So if you get it in a powder form,
especially for that first trimester, that would have been like, why didn't we speak in the first trimester about this? That would have saved me a lot. So I didn't want to skip it. Obviously, you really get nervous about skipping it, but I know it was triggering feeling more nauseous. Yeah, that's a really good tip.
Blend it into a smoothie, and then you've got sort of like a healthy meal replacement there, and you've gotten all the prebiotics, all the probiotics, the healthy fats, you've got all the vitamins and minerals there, and like that just takes one worry away.
Perfect. And we're going to link your suggestions so that if anybody does want to check them out and try them, then
I think it's a good idea.
It's a very good idea.
Yeah.
I actually haven't heard of that brand. So that's
I really love them. And on that as well, like it helps with like bowel movements and all of these things. Like constipation is huge in pregnancy. You get a good brand, everything just flows like it should.
Absolutely.
Literally.
Yes, and that's what we want in pregnancy. Yeah. Thank you so much for taking part in today's video. And if you enjoyed it, then please do give us a follow on any of our social channels. So you can follow us on Facebook, you can follow us on YouTube, or you can follow us on Instagram, where we are constantly uploading loads of useful content to support you on your wellness journey. See you in your next workout.